I wanted to get out of DC to visit different startup ecosystems because I think every city has a bubble, and you sort of get used to, and I mean that as like sort of a cultural but technical bubble as well. And there's a lot you can learn from other ecosystems that you can bring back. You can see what are the things that are working in different cities and for different entrepreneurs, and then bring them back into your own ecosystem. So you can take sort of the best of different approaches and say, here's some things that we can try out that may or may not work in our own ecosystem, but that were beneficial in other ones, that it doesn't hurt to try them. And otherwise, you may not know about them unless you actually go and you see them firsthand yourself by going to that city. So I planned the agenda for each city, and I was able to coordinate that basically by picking a bunch of cities that I knew I wanted to go to. So I knew I wanted to go and check out more of Austin. I knew I wanted to check out the West Coast and then things in the Midwest, and then a little bit on the Northeast. So I picked a few cities. I think it was Austin and San Diego and San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, and then I planned other smaller cities around that. And then just coming from a tech background, I immediately got in touch with people that ran the tech meetups there. So I'm a Python developer. I'm mainly in the Python stack. So I would get in touch with, for example, before going to Memphis, reached out to the people who run Memphis Python, and I just said, hey, do you have when's the next talk? I'm going to be in the city on these dates. In that case, they asked me to be the speaker, so I was able to do that. In other cases, like in San Diego, I just attended San Diego Python and got a lot out of that. But basically that hook into the community, it's based on my own expertise. So if you don't have a tech background, you could certainly do the same thing if you're, engaging with the entrepreneurial communities. But I just needed that initial hook into the community, and then all of a sudden all the connections sprouted out of that. And that helped to just coordinate things and just kind of get some initial meetings set up for each city that I plan to go to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did have some goals with this trip. Some of them personal, just wanted to kind of get out and learn some things, and just kind of get away from my DC. Has a way of being all-encompassing, as some cities do, and I wanted to just kind of experience what was going on in other cities that I'd sometimes never even been to before, or ones that I'd only been to for, say, a vacation or something like that. The main goal, though, was to learn from other ecosystems and to bring that back to DC, and just to kind of say, well, what are the things that are working in other cities that we can try in DC? Not necessarily that we sort of force them on the ecosystem here, but I think there's a lot of really great opportunities and things to learn from other cities that we can bring back to DC, and that was really the ultimate goal. And so I would say that after everything being all said and done, and I've been back in DC for about 3 months since the end of my 5-month trip, I have been able to at least have conversations. I'm pretty plugged in with some of the tech meetup founders, and I basically said, well, why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? And so that just helps to bring those ideas into the ecosystem here. So I think it's been successful so far, and I think really I wanted to have some time to reflect and think about, well, why do certain things work or not, and how I can approach them in DC. And so I would say that really 2014 is going to be telling with how some of these ideas work or don't work in DC here.